Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. A little bit of a break there, missed a few days. Back now as we've got a Delver of Secrets versus a Cloud Post. We'll see how Ben's mana base holds up. Blue-Red Delver does have the ability to knock down this mana base pretty quickly with Wastelands, sometimes Stifle, though I haven't seen as much of that lately. There's so many options to choose when it comes to Blue-Red Delver, and it's only going to get crazier with the printing of Modern Horizons 2. Grim Monolith, and now we've got Trinisphere. Does it stick? We've got a fetch. Days will not be enough as Cloud Post is untapped. Grim Monolith kind of ramping into the Trinisphere and can be untapped later if things go well. Ooh, and Bone Crusher Giant being thrown at Ben's face. Ancient Tomb not doing him too much in the way of favors there. Days, not a strong card, but it does flip the Delver, which is important. And, you know, if John has another land in hand, this could actually be pretty good for him as he's got Bone Crusher Giant to cast. And he does. So all basics. Bone Crusher Giant arriving on the scene. Ben just has a couple of turns left. Vesuva copying Cloud Post. Glimmer Posts could extend this situation. A Walking Ballista. So that's an excellent card here, as this will be able to block the Bone Crusher Giant. And then before damage, take out the Delver of Secrets. That's pretty close to ideal. Everything turning sideways. And I suspect that's the line that we will see. It is. So Bone Crusher Giant still an issue to be dealt with, but that's a 3-turn clock, so Ben's got some time. Expressive Iteration at 3 mana, not amazing. It'll basically just get one card into John's hand. He does not find a land with it. Oh, he has a Volcanic to continue building his mana base. Mana is going to operate in sets of 3, so 4 mana not meaningfully different than 3 mana. Oh, Glimmer Post gaining 3 life. Charging up his mana base. And now 8 for an Ugin. Wow. I mean, that's a way to answer Bone Crusher Giant. KOs Bone Crusher and just has a monstrous Planeswalker for his trouble. That's going to be able to kill pretty much anything that John puts down. What a haymaker. Just an absolute bomb Ben throws out there. John with no ability to answer it thanks to that Trinisphere. And Ben manages to stabilize and completely turn that game around. It was looking quite good for John. He probably felt pretty good about the way that game was going. But totally turning right around thanks to Glimmer Post, supercharging the existing Cloud Posts. One of them was a Vesuva. Each of those tapping for 3 mana. That's like Mishra's Workshop value. Just incredible. Not a whole lot of lands produce more value than that. Talking about a pretty elite list. Things like Gaia's Cradle and Tolarian Academy. Both of those in the best of times can outperform tapping for 3 mana. But that is pretty brutal as Ben picks up that first game. John has a Scalding Tarn go. Not the ideal opening for Delver. They do really want that turn 1 Delver of Secrets, but we'll see what else he has to complement this. A Force of Will. That is certainly a reason to consider keeping. Oh, and interesting. He actually forces pitching Days. So there was a Chalice at 1. John really valuing the tempo here. Grabbing a Volk and a Tropical Island. I don't know if this is actually going to be Rug Delver or if it's just got a little bit of a green splash. And that might be Cindervines. Chalice at 1, keeping Wasteland open. And Ben going to preserve his Wasteland for now. Basic Mountain for John. Casting a Null Rod, which may not do anything this match. We'll see. Does shut off Karn pretty well. Well, that's not an accurate thing to say. It does stop the Mycosynth Lattice lock to a degree, as it will be symmetrical at that point. Now, Sprite Dragon has arrived and is turning sideways. City of Traders for Ben. Considering perhaps a 6-mana play, Trinisphere and Chalice. It's a lot to play through for Delver. This is where you want a card like Ancient Grudge. And now we've got Karn. Cindervines punishing each Planeswalker activation. I didn't actually catch what Ben grabbed there. Sprite Dragon can do a lot of work, but not when you can't be casting spells. Trinisphere and Chalice make it pretty punishing. Even with a Chalice at 1 out, just being able to dump some 1-mana cards out there to pump up your Sprite Dragon could be sufficient, but when you got to pay 3 mana for a card that doesn't do anything, and that is rarely going to be worthwhile. Oh, and another Sprite Dragon. Both turning sideways. Ben's life total is dwindling. It's a lot of things that Ben could grab here with Karn. Walking Ballista. This is a pretty rude one. Be able to kill these Sprite Dragons. Cindervines will punch back a little bit, but... Oh no. Oh, I don't agree with that at all. Passing the turn. So Cindervines takes out Trinisphere. 2 mana now for Brazen Borrower, looking to go on an adventure with the Petty Theft. What is this going to do? I did not follow the logic there. Probably would have need to have heard the audio. So what I would have imagined is on Ben's turn using the Walking Ballista to take out the Sprite Dragons prior to John being able to get any additional counters on there. That would have been the expected line. Now once the Cindervine was off the board, the triggers to add the counters could have been responded to with the Walking Ballista. So, yeah, I am not sure. But I'm going to try and get a few videos done here today, so I'm not going to pause and go back and rewatch. If someone else has a better read of that situation, let us know in the comments. That will be appreciated. But John picking up that game, forcing a third. Ben had all sorts of possibilities there, but Cindervines making it awkward, using Karn to grab something like a Ensnaring Bridge, really not going to save you when your opponent can destroy it with an onboard trick. City of Traders into Grim Monolith. Scary, but not the scariest of openings. Ooh, and Manifold Key. Okay, so this is getting scarier. I thought there was a signal to pass the turn there. There's going to be 2 mana floating, and Ben can untap now 1 mana, and now 4. Will we see a Karn? We do. It's like a vintage quality opening here. Karn eats a Force of Will, but Ben's mana advantage is just so significant here. You gotta wonder if it would have been better to Force a Will the Grim Monolith. Ponder for John. Needs to find an answer to any potential threats, but also needs to find pressure. You cannot give Mud all day. They can drop just hellacious cards. Cards that can just win the game all by themselves, as we saw game 1. Grim Monolith is able to now power out a Kuldotha Forge Master. That is a huge threat. Another vintage playable card. I've used that to tutor a Blightsteel Colossus in vintage before. I mean, you can tutor up a lot of nasty cards. Time Vault Key was probably the most common. And once Forge Master is online, Ancient Grudge, love it. One of my favorite sideboard cards. I actually brought that into vintage after playing in Spain in 2008. I'd lost in the finals of a tournament. First and second place were a Beta Lotus, so I wasn't too upset about losing per se, but I did think that the deck could improve, and that's where I added a red splash in the sideboard to enable Ancient Grudge more effectively. That really made a huge difference. Added 2 volcanic islands in the sideboard, which allowed me to go up to 20 mana to play around sphere effects, and then Ancient Grudge just giving incredible power and versatility. And I think it plays wonderfully along with cards like Sprite Dragon. Back in the day, Quirion Dryad was the best we could manage, but Sprite Dragon would be a clear upgrade, as it's blue, pitches to force, misdirection, has flying and haste. I mean, it's just an incredible card. Klothys for John leaves him so far ahead, but Ancient Grudge has just done massive damage here, stopping the Kuldotha Forge Master and leaving just a Voltaic Key or Manifold Key on board, as it has no synergy with any of Ben's other permanents at the moment. Grim Monolith really does wonders when you've got some keys to untap it, but the key on its own, not going to do a whole lot. Ethereal Forger showing up, getting some additional utility. It's going to be able to return Force of Will to hand, and that's where I think this card really shines, is the ability to get back your hard counters. Dreadhorde Arcanist could create incremental card advantage, and you could potentially brainstorm or ponder into some type of answer, but you know, the Ethereal Forger really does a great job of getting cards like Force of Will back for extra use. We got a Lightning Bolt being revealed off of Expressive Iteration. Force of Will safely going back into John's hand, and we're going to see a Bolt going upstairs. Things are not looking good for Ben. Just a single Cloud Post in play. Everything's going smoothly for John. Klothys exiles. And now Brainstorm. And scooping it up as I was considering whether or not I'd rather get Ponder than Brainstorm there. Minus a shuffle effect, I think I'd rather just get the Ponder. But that said, John just in absolutely dominant position there and takes that one down on the strength of Dreadhorde Arcanist's replacement. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.